Hi, guys. Welcome to this week's episode of You Had to Be There. Today is a special day for the podcast. We have our first guest, Ivana. Welcome. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing so great. Thanks for having me.
Ivana played golf at Gonzaga, and she has been a phenomenal golfer ever since I've known her. And we are so lucky to have her today. So we'll actually pass it on to her. We just want you to share a little bit of who you are, how you got started in golf, favorite things about the game, just a little bit for us to get to know you.
Okay. Well, hi, my name is Ivana Montemayor. I am 24 years old. I am from Tijuana, Mexico, and I started playing golf when I was about 3. My dad introduced me to golf because he had played throughout his junior years, was actually a pretty good player, and then took me to the driving range once in a while. And then I just started hitting balls, and from what I've been told, because I don't remember, I would hit a couple balls and then go pick flowers and chase a butterfly and go hit another balls and tell my dad that he was doing it wrong and then go pick some more flowers. And I think that's one of the reasons why I fell in love with it so young is because I was just allowed to have fun. Um, right now, it's been a long journey. I don't play tournaments anymore. My golf career ended in when I graduated college. Well, a little earlier, but we'll get into that. Um, but now I play recreationally during the weekend. Sometimes I go practice during the week, and it's really, really fun. I'm in law school and just living my best life.
That's pretty awesome. Nice. Um, you just mentioned a big part, and actually part of what we wanted to bring you in here is to talk about your college career. Um,
Mhm.
you obviously killed it as a junior golfer, right? You've won so many events, were successful, in other ways than just winning. But then you got, your full ride to Gonzaga, which congratulations for that.
Thank you.
What was going through your head at that point? What did you think your life was going to look like when you moved to college?
It was, I think I got committed my junior year of high school. And it had been my dream to go to Gonzaga for since my freshman year at that point. So it'd been a while. And I did it. I was like, wow, this is so crazy. Um, but I mean, as you guys know too, it was a weird time because COVID kind of fucked everything up. So it was just very uncertain. I didn't know what it was gonna look like. I think it was a very big change even going into it without the COVID aspect because, we're playing in Tijuana slash San Diego weather. You can play golf basically in shorts year round, and then you come here and it's snowing from November to like March, and that's new to me. Um, moving like over 1,000 miles away from home, really don't know anybody here. So all of that is just a lot of uncertainty, but excitement. And in regards to my golf game, I was doing pretty good, but I think uh, starting out college was just like all of that uncertainty and the fact that we didn't have um, a season in the fall when in 2020 just kind of messed with my head a little bit in a way. I don't know. So I wasn't playing as good, which took a little bit of a hit to my self-esteem. Um, but coming in, I was like so excited, and then I got the chipping yips, which was just awesome.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at you there.
Happened.
It's okay. But how was that transition from like leaving your house, of course, you went somewhere far right away and it was COVID. Like, how was it that aspect of like adapting and like making friends, leaving your home friends? How were you able to do that? And of course, like that played into the golf aspect of like losing a little bit of confidence, but it was
Mhm.
understandable. I mean, we weren't allowed to practice at all from like March to I don't know when you left. So, I mean, I think it's understandable, but how did you manage like that shift? Like, how did you adapt your freshman year?
Oh, I think I just relied a lot on my new teammates. It was definitely hard to leave home. It's I've never lived somebody somewhere else and making new friends, but I think everyone's just trying to make friends their freshman year. So it wasn't too hard, like uh getting a group going. And then my team was very, very, very close. So I would hang out with them all the time. They became my best friends, and which was good because we weren't really allowed to see anybody else. So it was just kind of relying on each other. And I slowly grew to just like love Spokane and love the campus that I was at. I focused on my practice and just like being around the people that I was allowed to be around. And I had a lot of fun. I was just excited to try something new. And even with that, like confidence and chipping yips blip situation, I was still having a lot of fun. And I think transitioned really well into fitting in with the team and the school environment and everything, regardless of how hard it was. They just kind of existed at the same time.
How'd you feel about coaches coming in to college, and were the expectations met? How'd you feel overall?
Yeah, I love my coaches coming into college. I thought that they were great. Um, they had just like a very good organized way of doing things and setting up practices. Um, I enjoyed like practicing under them and just guided by them, especially the first semester. Like they set the expectations very well and adapted to the adversity of like that COVID situation very well. So, you know, there were some things that happened later on, but like at first coming in, I was very happy about, being a part of the team, including the coaches.
I'm gonna backtrack here real quick. If you could please let our audience know why you chose Gonzaga.
Okay, that's a funny one. There was a college fair at our high school actually. Freshman year, and it was for juniors or seniors or something. And I saw that they were setting up all their stuff. And then I don't even remember what class we were in, but I asked to go to the bathroom and I sneaked out and went to this college fair and picked up some flyers. And I just like through the flyer just fell in love with Gonzaga and like what they had to say about it and how beautiful it was. And then I did more research and then I was just like, I want to go there. And then just didn't change my mind, I guess.
So you mentioned your college career and golf career ended earlier than you expected. What was the reason behind it and when did it end?
Yeah, so it was a left wrist injury and it ended fall of my senior year after 3 surgeries.
Oh wow, that's tough. But were you able to compete at least a lot during those like 3 years, or how was your experience with it? Because injuries are not always easy.
No. So again, like going back to the COVID thing, I know probably everybody in the world is tired of hearing it, but it played a big thing, a big I don't know,
Roll.
big role in all of our college careers as athletes. So, it's worth mentioning. But I had to redshirt my freshman year. Um, I mean, I didn't have to, but I redshirted my freshman year. And so I didn't play any tournaments when I redshirted. And then my sophomore year, I played a tournament as an individual where I actually did pretty good. And then played a couple more. And the winter between fall and spring semesters of my sophomore year is when I first got injured. There wasn't any one particular event where the injury occurred. It was just like wear and tear over time, but it just I didn't do anything about it, so it got worse and worse over time.
What was it like being injured in a team? Did you feel support from the girls, from coaches? How'd you manage that?
It was weird for sure. I mean, my coach, his daughter had a similar situation because she also played golf and she had a uh not the same kind of injury, but she also had a wrist injury that put her out for a long time. I mean, you use your wrists a lot for golf. And so he was very, very supportive and just like of everything that I needed. The girls were great as well. I mean, like I mentioned before, they're still are some of my best friends, and they were just there for me, like emotionally. It was hard sometimes just being at practice, and it wasn't just like the physical pain of, I'm trying to do what I'm supposed to be doing here. And it hurts like physically, but it was also like, well, like they can do it and I really want to do it. And I just felt this sense of responsibility because, I was there on a scholarship and I couldn't quote unquote perform my job.
Yeah.
So it was very just I felt guilt in a way, and also it's just very draining, like mentally and emotionally, more so than the physical pain, I would say.
So did you feel like you had to pretend to be okay? Um,
Yeah, a little bit. People usually know me as a very positive person, and I'd like to think that I am. I mean, I got through it, but it's like watching everybody do the things that you want to be doing and that you love and that you just like can't do is really hard, and you can't really do much about it. Like there are some things in life where you can sit back and see it and be like, ugh, like I hate this, but then you can go and do something about it. And you you just can't do much about that. You can just like go to the doctor and do physical therapy and get the stupid cortisol shots, and then they're like, ah, that's not working, so gotta get surgery. And it's just a lot of waiting and a lot of time that it takes to sort all of that out.
I mean, you never imagined your career would end because of an injury. And what did you think was like the main thing that helped you like stay positive throughout the process? And I mean, you were also focusing more on academics. So like how were you able to balance it out? And when did you started shifting your mindset into like golf is not gonna be it? So did you fall back into academics or like how did you manage all that?
Well, that's a very hard question to answer because at the end of the day, I wasn't involved in the decision of medically retiring. That was a decision that was taken fully by the athletics department at Gonzaga, which I completely understand because at the end of the day, the university is a business, not nonprofit or whatever, but it is a business. And at that point, when they retired me in October of 2023, um, I had cost them a lot of money. I had gone through 3 surgeries in the span of 13 months, gone to like, I guess, 3 rounds of physical therapy, endless doctor's appointments, like a mental health therapists, like all of these things. And I think that I understand that side of it, it wasn't worth keeping, but like I said, it was also a weird situation because I wasn't involved in the decision making. Like I know like a couple of other student athletes were and on other teams. Um, so I think it was I didn't stay positive. Like I'm gonna be completely honest during that time. Until after I had graduated. It took me a long time because my doctor had told me that I was going to be able to play my last semester. And then I just kind of got told this news, like, and it was hard because it didn't end on my terms and I didn't know. It was just so sudden. And, you know, you guys know as being athletes, like, it's your, like, not your whole world, but like a lot of it. And it's just like
Comes your
shaped,
identity, yeah.
uh-huh, like a lot of your identity. So it just, I felt like it had gotten taken away from me. My best friends on the team had graduated already, so I felt pretty lonely, but I still had some like good non-athlete friends to keep me positive, and my boyfriend was amazing. My my family was you know, like real supportive over the phone or whatnot, but they were there too. So that was, but I mean, it was, I'd be lying to you if I told you that I stayed positive. Like I was not doing well. And I just thought that I had a little bit more to just end it on my terms, like one more tournament, one more thing, instead of like having to pull out from, uh, what's it called? Not regionals,
Conference.
conference. Huh. Because I was stupid injury. Like, so yeah, I hated Gonzaga for like a bit after graduating, but then I come around and I'm still here for law school, so go Zags.
With feeling like you were losing part of your identity, obviously it's challenging, and I feel like every athlete goes through it in different ways, and at different timelines. But now, where you're at now, what changed for you? You know, what did make you decide to keep things going and be positive like you are now? Like, what was the thing that made you realize like life can still be meaningful outside of golf?
Hmm. I think it's looking at all of the other things that I had while I was still golfing. So, you're a golfer and you're a college athlete and all of these crazy things that, we accomplished our dreams of when we were little. And you think about that most of the time. And so that got taken away from me and it ended and, going through an identity crisis. But now I'm like, well, I had during my golfer era, I had an amazing like support system. I still was going to this great school, getting good grades, like setting up my career to go to law school. My family was always there for me. Like I had all those things, and then I just I realized finally that what truly, truly makes me happy was not being a golfer or winning a tournament or anything, but it's just like having all of these amazing friends and family and just people that I love around me supporting me and just keeping those relationships. is what truly makes me happy, and I know will always be there when I this is Kona. Um, will always be there when I need them. So, and I still have them, and they're still there for me right now. So, golf is always going to be there for me too. It just takes a different form.
Going off of that, did you notice the athlete in you showing up in unexpected places once golf was no longer your thing? Like your resilience or like all the aptitudes you gained with golf, like do you realize and nowadays with being in law school or in with your job, like how do you realize it?
Yeah. Golf is it's very, I think it's a pretty unique sport in that you spend a lot of time in your head because it's not as much of a reaction sport as like most or as fast paced. Like you have in between shots, you have a lot of time to think and get in your head and all these things, and you have to build uh like a tough nail in your brain kind of and to think about what you're going to do next and how you're going to persevere even with the last shot being super shitty. Because yes, you can rely on muscle memory, but the brain is always stronger. So you're only as strong as your head is. So I think, I mean, even going back to what happened, it was like all of that was just like a horrible shank to the right, like OB, and I just had to rely on that mental toughness to get myself to the next shot and be able to hit it straight onto the green. And I spent my gap year during undergrad and law school working at an incredible law firm as a legal assistant, made great connections, made new friends. Um, and I just started like being really happy again. And that was my straight shot onto the green. So just I think that mental toughness that golf gives you is something that I'm always going to cherish and bring with me.
Laura and I have actually talked about mental toughness in our previous episodes, and we say that not everyone can be a student athlete because you do need that, right? Whether you're playing golf, football, basketball, you need that mental toughness. So, yes, my question here is if what do you want people to take away from your story? Especially an athlete that feels like the world is falling apart right now, whether that's an injury or maybe they're going through recruiting and they don't have any offers in the table right now. Whatever it may be, what do you think you would want to share with them?
Mm, that's a good one. I think I'd want to share that you have to work really hard for what you want, but if you do that, everything will fall into place. And mental toughness is not about pretending that you're positive and okay all the time. It's about letting yourself feel all of the shitty feelings for as long as you need to, and then finding joy in all the unexpected things so then you can come out stronger because you can't go to the next shot with a bad attitude or with like things weighing on you. So rely on other things that bring you joy. And a little tip that I do when I'm having a shitty thing, I depends on how big the shitty like thing is. I will be like, okay, Ivana, you have 2 hours to wallow and cry and like be self-pitiful, and I'll set a timer, and then when the timer's over, I go and do something else and that makes me happy. But I let myself feel it and cry and like do all these things because it is shitty. But then what are you gonna do next to make it less shitty? So that's what I hope that you get from the story, and injury is not going to end your life.
I think that's great. I think it honestly, as someone that has known you for such a long time, what you said about that advice, like it really reflects on you because you said you were not positive in the years where you were injured and you had those issues. But honestly, I always saw you being positive and I always saw you pushing through. Like you kept going with school and now you're in law school. You should be so proud of yourself and you've redefined what success means to you. So you should be really proud of yourself, Ivana.
Thank you. I'm really proud of you both. You're awesome.
Now, going off what Laura said, I think well, for all of you that know, Ivan and I played golf together. And when I kind of got into golf, I wasn't great, but Ivana was actually someone I always looked up to. So, but anyway, obviously now it's like it's nice to like have friendships that you grow alongside with, and then you have these moments and you share stories, and that's part of why we're doing this, right? It's just like in a way like healing bits of each other's story.
Yeah.
Right. But going off that, we have one final question for you.
Okay.
Okay, gotta get ready. But
Okay.
what's something sports gave you that had nothing to do with winning?
Oh my gosh. Friends, look at you. I wouldn't have had both of you if it weren't for golf. So, yeah, you're like still I know that I'm really awful at replying to text messages, but I
Yes.
mean, we can go months without talking to each other, and I still consider you both some of my best friends in the whole world. And I love you now, will always love you. So, friends, yeah, I have so many that golf gave me around the world. It's crazy. Um, and it's like I said, my relationships are the things that bring me joy and happiness and everything. So, that's the most important thing.
I love that. I think that's the perfect answer.
Thank you for
Yay.
sharing a little bit of your story with us.
I love you.
It was
We love you.
having
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for everyone who joined in and listened to Ivana's story. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a good one.
I follow me on Instagram
What's your Instagram?
at Ivana with two N's and an I dot Montemayor.
Perfect. Go ahead and follow her, guys. And thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of You Had to Be There.